While the Ukai Molao crime-busting operation took place in Mamelodi East near Pretoria last night, and residents have been complaining about gender-based violence.
Police say they are working closely with non-government organizations.
We are also challenged in terms of the gender-based violence cases around Mamelodi, if I should pinpoint the Mamelodi where we are working. But how we're dealing with the gender-based violence cases is that we've implemented the gender-based violence desk at all police stations within Tshwane, where the victims, as soon as they arrive at the police station, they are channeled to the GBV desk, where they will be taken to the victim-friendly facilities, where they will be interviewed and the case is opened there so that we can deal better with them. But over and above, we've got the NGOs that we are working with in terms of those who wants to be or needing their houses to be housed while they are still sorting out the issues within their houses.
While all eyes are on the tourism sector this festive season, it will be the first summer without restrictions since the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, reports show the country's tourism sector slowly recovering and attracting big spenders. Let's speak now on predictions for the summer and how the situation is looking currently with Chief Marketing Officer at Motsamai Tourism Group, Juliet Barnes. Juliet, thank you so much for your time this morning. A very good morning to you. So it looks as though the tourism sector in this country is attracting big spenders. But I really have to ask, are these local big spenders or are they international big spenders? And how much of disposable income is actually available to South Africans, especially at this time?
I would say it's a combination of both. We're definitely seeing local big spenders as well as your international big spenders. And what a joy to have those internationals back in our midst as well. In terms of the disposable income, I think there is some, especially from the international markets. The guys who has been particularly in lockdowns, hard lockdowns, in small apartments in their various cities around the world, and have had that savings in their pockets to now travel the world again. So it's a wonderful experience to have them back.
Yeah, it's definitely a wonderful experience, but it also says something about how there's opportunity now for the local market to be able to capitalize, especially on international guests, as well as how is it that the value chain or the ecosystem from a business perspective is able to revive once again?
Yeah, absolutely. I think all small business operators, especially the craftsmen, I think if you consider the whole value chain that feeds into tourism, it is so critical to have that spend back in the country. And what perfect timing as we gear up to go into our festive season.
Just around how we can potentially even encourage some of the local hotel groups, as well as, the activities and the like, to almost bring down the prices so that we can have a quicker recovery as opposed to keeping the prices. How then do you start even having that kind of conversation? Because you know the South Africans would often say, I want to be able to see my country. I want to tour my country. But sometimes touring South Africa can prove to be a very expensive exercise. Somehow between those that are trying to make some kind of, bring value from this industry and those that are trying to experience the sector of industry, we need to find a balance. How do we do so?
I think it's a very interesting conversation to be had. Experience for every pocket out there. Just because you might not be able to afford some of the 5-star products that we have on offer in South Africa doesn't mean that there isn't something that suits your pocket. There's some fantastic experiences, and there's some fantastic experiences out for the local markets. Whether it is a stay for 2, but pay for 1 night kind of. There's many things and days to your pocket. There's endless possibilities from camping. I think we are spoiled for choice in this country, and to find that balance, find the thing that draws you. And I think there's many specials out at the moment in terms of lowering the price. I think the tourism industry has been hit extremely hard during COVID, so it would be difficult to say. Let's drop our price by half when we're also in a recovery period. But in terms of finding something that's still fantastic for yourself is very, very possible at this stage.
Yeah, we're going to try just to see how we can establish better connectivity, Juliet, because as it is a very important conversation when it comes to this, the tourism sector. But how much are some of these businesses using social media as a means of attracting particularly a younger market? It is a potentially untapped market, and they love using social media, whether it's TikTok or Twitter and the like, to find out where the great specials are, where the awesome tourist destinations and the like. But are we able to play catch up in terms of the value offering and utilizing social media as a means of marketing effectively?
Absolutely. Social media has become a key driver in your younger markets, your generation Y. Even, they look at what happens on Instagram, on TikTok, like you said, and that's where the moments are to capture their attention. If I'm standing in front of Kruger Shalati, and even there, we can see the amount of inquiries that comes from our social media feed is really something to stand up and take note of. And I think it's definitely one of the trends that when we speak to our industry friends, one can see, especially on TikTok, such a driver for Instagram remains to be a huge captive market, that they want that Instagrammable moment, that brag factor while having a great time.
We are. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more and more South Africans actually tour this wonderful country of ours and get to experience some of those wonderful sites, as you're alluding to. Chief Marketing Officer of Mutsamai Tourism Group, Juliet Barnes, and she's got such a beautiful privilege to have wonderful background there out in the bush and about, making sure that we get to see the beauty that this country actually gets to behold.